Hello Star Wars fans, and welcome to episode 65 of Journey into Legends. Today we are going to be reading The Mandalorian Armor by K.W. Jeter. The Mandalorian Armor was released in 1998 and is the first book in the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy. I've heard some pretty mixed things about this trilogy, but I'm nonetheless very excited to get into it. So without further ado, let's read and review. Alright, so the present-day storyline of this book takes place just after the sail barge battle in Return of the Jedi, and expands on the survival of Boba Fett. Overall, I did really enjoy this plotline quite a bit. It was very interesting to see Boba Fett in such a vulnerable state, and when he finally does recuperate, it's really badass. My only issue with this storyline comes near the end of the book, when all of a sudden, the writing took a huge nosedive. Bossk shows up at Tatooine, finds and boards the Slave One, and in it, finds a Kuat Drive Yard's spy droid with footage of Owen Beru's moisture farm burning, which doesn't even begin to make sense. Why, in the context of this trilogy, is this even included in the book? And secondly, Dengar hires somebody to send the message that Boba Fett is indeed alive to Kuat of Kuat. That middleman decides to also send the message to Bossk, who just happens to arrive in the system to receive it. I really enjoyed the majority of this storyline, only for the writing to get really bad at the end. I'm hoping this isn't a warning of what's to come in the next two books. Definitely the highlight of this book for me was the flashback storyline. Just after A New Hope, Boba Fett is given a mission by a creature named Kudar Mubat, a really creepy but awesome spider creature thing. Anyways, the mission is to infiltrate the Bounty Hunters Guild and destroy it from within. And I absolutely loved this plotline. I enjoyed getting a taste of how the guild operates, and it was really great to see characters like Bossk, Zuckuss, IG-88, Bosk's father Kratos, and the new character Daharhan. This storyline had some great action and some really fun political maneuvering and backstabbing. Definitely my biggest issue with this book, even worse than some of the poor writing choices near the end, involved the continuity that Jeter fails to maintain with other stories. Dengar's discovery of Boba Fett near the Sarlacc pit and their subsequent interactions don't at all line up with Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and neither does this book's characterization of many of the bounty hunters. There's no mention of Dengar being the cyborg he was in Tales of the Bounty Hunters. IG-88 is much less ruthless in this. Zuckuss, instead of being a semi-competent bounty hunter with a bit of force sensitivity, here he's portrayed as a bumbling amateur. And Bossk is less of a bumbling amateur here than he was in Tales. Boba Fett is really the only one whose characterization is somewhat consistent between the books, and although I did really enjoy this book and actually preferred its interpretation of a few of the bounty hunters, namely Dengar and Bossk, there's simply no excusing such blatant disregard of prior media. Zuckuss could have very easily been replaced by a new character, and IG-88 could have been replaced with Forlom or another character, or simply written to be more ruthless like he was in Tales of the Bounty Hunters. But overall, besides the poor continuity with the Tales books, I actually really enjoyed this book. Maybe the next two books are the reason this trilogy has such a bad reputation, but so far it's definitely exceeding my expectations. Both plotlines were thoroughly entertaining and kept me hooked the entire time, and I thought the writing was pretty good up until the end. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next review where I'll be continuing the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy with Book 2, Slave Ship. See ya!